Hi everyone, welcome to Tom's Manshed. Right, this is part 2 of a 2-part video, part 1 of which was about printing this guy, where to get the file from, and where to how to download it, and going through all the parts and all the filaments I used, any sort of issues I came across during construction and that, and I go into it in great detail. So much detail, including all my waffling that I normally do, that I was going to do all these characters in the same video, but that got to 37 minutes long just on him. So hence this part 2, and I'm squeezing 2 characters in this, and hopefully I'll be able to do it at the same length or maybe even shorter. So, as before, use the timeline below. I'll put an itemized timeline showing what is in each bit of the video, so you can just skip any unwanted bits. So I downloaded the Wile E Coyote. I did that. I was so pleased with it. It looks fantastic, as I hope you'll agree, that I had to do a Road Runner. So here's the Road Runner. And again, during this video, I will be going through the filaments I used and any issues in putting it together. An interesting bit about orientating it and supports. As in the other one, I will be showing you how easy or difficult it is to remove the supports from the build plate I used. A Super Tack cool plate from Bambu Labs, which I absolutely love. And after the Road Runner, I shall be doing the Tweety Pie. Now here is the finished Tweety Pie. I'll show you it again at the end. You will notice some differences, I won't tell you what they are, between this and the one I've featured in the filming of the construction of it, which I've already filmed. So see if you can spot the difference there. All will be explained, as will the filament I used for the Tweety Pie. I'll go into in a bit more detail because it is this PLA-F. Now, I'd never used this before. Again, I'll show you where I got it from and how much it was. But I'll explain what the difference is between normal PLA and PLA-F is in the Tweety Pie bit. So, like I say, in each section, as before, I'll start off with the materials I used and the colours. Then I'll go into showing it you in Bambu Studio. Of course, you can use the slicer of your choice, but I use Bambu Studio because I have got a bamboo printer, as you can see in the background. And like I say, I go into great detail on the different plates and what to look out for, and on the Tweety Pie, the 2 changes I made. So without further ado, let's start with the Road Runner. So the colours I used for the Road Runner are these. I don't know what make this is. It's just a generic PLA. Maybe you recognise the make, but Sunny Orange PLA. Any numbers there may identify the actual colour, but any orange will do. The blue was this one from Giant Arm. Again, use them quite a few times. High speed PLA, and that is called just blue. So look, just this colour blue. Again, any sort of blue of that colour will do. And the paler blue, the turquoisey blue. Again, they were I forget how much I paid for them. They were rolls I've had for a while. And this one was the pale colour, sort of like a turquoisey colour I bought. Now this is, I've never used this before, Sullian, but it was £10.99, £10.99. Again, I'll put the price. Really cheap. I've just checked now and it's gone up to £11.99. But it's from Creality. The box had it came in a cardboard Creality box. And I've read a few reviews. There's a thing on Reddit about it. People saying, oh, they haven't had much success. Well, as you can see, and as I'll show you again in close-up later, it printed beautifully. It stuck to the Bambu Labs Super Tack plate. Fantastic, as everything seems to do. There was supports came off dead easy. There was no stringing. It was really, really nice to work with. So I don't know what, whether they've got a dud roll or something not set up properly. But from my point of view, my first experience, yeah, I loved it and I will buy it again. So what colour is this? It's a... see it? Ocean. It's hard to see, but ocean blue. So, yeah, Soline, matte. The other colours on it, the white and the black, just generic. The red was this, which you can see. I've not got much left of it. Now, as you see, this it's eSun E PLA-SS. I don't know what that means. What, super speed or whatever. I don't really know. It's getting down to the end of the roll, so I've got this weight container in it. It stops your roll skipping around. But as you can see, this is a cardboard reel. Now, the AMS machine behind, I'll show you again, on the top there, where you stick your spools, the lid is up at the moment. When you're using these cardboard, you're not supposed to use cardboard spools in it because the rollers can wear away and the dust can clog up the mechanism. So you can print on your 3D printer these sort of like covers. And you can see this is one for eSun filaments. It is an eSun one. And that stops it fraying. You can sort of roughen that bit up with sandpaper and it gives you sort of extra grip. So I've not had any problem with it in the AMS, but you can't close the lid. So yeah, I know a cardboard filament reel is more environmentally friendly than the plastic ones. I could have unwound this on the machine behind us and put it on an empty Bambu Labs reel or another one with sort of quite wide contact area there. But I thought I'd try these out. But it's faffing about in it, having to do that. I'd much sooner just buy a plastic reel. And if they come with like a quite a wide flat bit there, well, it's an extra bonus. That giant arm one does, as you can see, it's quite flat. That one not so, but I didn't have any problem. But yeah, so it turns in the machine okay, but too high to close the lid, and yeah. So I tend to stick to the plastic ones. Sorry about that, environmentalists, but I do prefer the plastic reels. So they're the three colours, 4 colours, and the white and black. So 6 different colours on the Road Runner. So it's on 6 different plates. So let's have a look at that now, and then again I'll show you any issues I came across while assembling it. If we select Road Runner here, that's the other one. So select that one, 20, 26 and 32. Again, I'm doing the biggest one, the 32. And so on the right here, if we click the 32 centimetre height, that top one, tells you there it's 8.3 hours in total. You can see just increasing centimetres, by 12 on top of the thing, or more than doubles it. 20 centimetres to 32 has jumped from 4 hours to 8.3 hours. So we'll do that, and then again we'll open right into the Bambu Studio. And this one is on 6 plates this time because we have 6 different colours. Again, to print this would be over 24 hours, I would think, if we were using the AMS to change colour on every layer. So again, switch now. So again, there we've got the 6 plates, 2 black pupils there, the main body and neck, and the big sort of tail feather in the pale blue. Shows like a turquoise in there. I've done it in like a pale blue. And I'll be showing you all the actual colours I used, and I'll list them as well. The foot and his beak, and the wings, and sort of like the top of his head, the comb, is it to call it, and his face, white face there, and the red tongue. So you've 6 different colours on this. Of course, you don't have to do them in these specific colours, but these are the same colours as the cartoon character. So, but again, he's created the supports himself. This uses all straight ones, and you will see, yeah, later on I do question whether it should be like this checker at the top, but it is. It's come out just like that, like a checkerboard effect, as you'll see on the real life thing, which I've already printed. But again, much increased. You need that with these type of supports, really tall ones, because they will fall over without. So quite a wide brim on them. So yeah, I'm just cutting it there. I thought I'd try. I'm just going to show you in a second in Bambu Studio. I thought, just for curiosity, instead of orientating it that way on the bed, like the designer does, would it save me any time putting it on the bed down here and just having supports under here? And I thought that might be a bit quicker. I got some very interesting results, so let's have a look at that. Well, lay on face. So say there, we've done it like that, lying down, and then slice it. So we've got a serious warning. Conflicts of G-code paths have been found at layer 62. Please separate the conflicting objects further. Oh yeah. My mistake. So go back. Yeah. It's into it there. I hadn't noticed that. That's what I like about this machine. It's idiots like me not setting something up proper. So just move it away from that. It will warn you about. Following objects are laid over the boundary. If we look there in the bottom right. And again, look, you can see I'm right on the thing. So shove that back up there. And then we'll move this one over there. So again, maybe laying that down on its face would be better, but let's see how that slices now. So, yeah, you see the supports there are much, much smaller than the really tall ones before. So what's that? That's model printing time, 4 hours, 20 minutes. It's using 9 meters, 9.06 meters of support. So let's go back to how it was. Right, that's how it was originally. Slice that. So that's the original layout, and this will now take well, there you are, see, 3 hours 28. So an hour less than my so-called saving method. And support, yeah, it's using more support, 11.7 meters as opposed to 9.6, but it's only a couple of meters extra, but an hour shorter print time than laying this on its side. So yeah, as you saw there, that surprised me. You would think, wouldn't you, lying it down, you know, like that, with hardly any supports under it, would take less time than them really tall supports. But as you saw, it was an hour more and only saved a couple of meters in filament. So I'd sooner have the hour time saving and just waste 2 more meters of filament, which is literally pennies. So yeah, so I would just suggest just leaving it as per the guy who designed it and printing it that way. So let's have a look now how easily it actually comes off the Bambu Cool Plate Super Tack plate. as you see, it comes off dead easy. And again, this is the other bit. Bit of flexing. Hear it breaking. Stuck a bit better, this. Be careful not to rip too violently in case you damage the surface of the board. But again, we've got all that off, which will come off when you stick your thumb under it, your fingernail under it. Again, being careful not for it to go up inside, which is very painful. But yeah, this is right. The bit started coming there, you see. But that's going to take a bit more scraping off, so we'll do that later. But the supports from the object itself come off dead easy. Off the main tail. Dead easy. That's it off there. There isn't even any real tidying up to do. Maybe a tiny bit around there. Bit of sandpaper on that one and that one. But again, really nice texture. There you can see just round, there's some little tiny bits. But very, very nice finish on it. Right, again, I'm just squeezing this bit in during editing because I thought I'd just go through a couple of things on this before we go on to Tweety Pie. When you plug in these together, they plug together really great. Now, it's like a little, like on the Wile E Coyote, it's like little spigots and mortise and tenon, if you will, like a hole in one part and a spigot in the rest. And you just basically plug them together. Sometimes they're tight enough just to hold. I didn't glue the tongue in, that was tight enough. But the head onto the neck, I did. The tail onto the body, you can see there's a bit of a gap there. I could have filed it all round and got it super smooth, but again, from the front, you can't tell, so there's no point. And I think I pointed out already, it's not just one foot that. I was thinking, where's his other foot? But he just has 2 front toes and 1 rear toe on each leg. So that is both legs held close together. So it's printing 2 separate legs. So a good design that, and a nice wide base for putting him on. So that is the Road Runner. So I've done the Wile E Coyote in part 1. Again, click up here or the tile at the end for a full review on the Wile E Coyote where I go into even more detail. And I did them 2 and I put them on the shelf and I thought, oh, I could do just one more in the middle. So let's have a look at the next one I printed, and I'll skim through this a bit quicker and not go into it as much detail because I realise that the time is going on again and it's becoming quite a long video. So let's get into this bit I've already filmed. So from the same designer, again, I'll put his name below and I'll credit him again because he's done a really good job on these. He's done quite a few cartoon characters, sort of like Looney Tunes type things and that. He does list a few on the download page for the previous 2 characters and this Tweety Pie. But he don't list everything he's done. I'll go at the end of the video, I'll show you the full list of his things and you'll see how really nice they are. I won't be doing any more because I've just no more room in the man shed. But like I said, I thought I'd do Tweety Pie. Now, again, there was no sort of real issues with it other than the supports were very dense supports, so it was well supported during printing, but you can see it's gone a bit sort of like funny there. The rest of it is ultra smooth. It's really, really smooth. Now this material is, I'll show you the materials first again, and then I'll show you a couple of changes I'm going to make to it. Now the blue, white and red, the blue, white and black of his eyes are the same blue and white and black as I used before. The black I used on this was a bit of carbon fibre, Bambu Labs carbon fibre black PLA I had left on a spool, so I used that up. But the orange is the same as the as previously used on the Road Runner. But the yellow, again, I'd run out of yellow, and I had a tiny bit of gold left, which I would have used on Coyote's eyes. But since I was doing this, I bought this. Now, I saw this on Amazon. I'm always tempted by the very, very cheap filaments, because I've had loads of very cheap filaments that have been fine. And I've never had this mate before, like silk, and it is PLA-F. The colour, does it say the colour on it? Yep, just on the back there, just yellow. No special yellow, but... Now, PLA-F, I hadn't heard of it, but it means it is 15% ABS. They claimed it to be more sort of durable outside, less prone to deteriorating in the weather, and slightly tougher with it being ABS. Some complaints have said, and they do mention in the thing, you will get a bit of a smell with it like ABS. Well, I left this going for, it's about, I think it's about, that whole head is about a 4-hour print, because the supports print really, really, really slow. I just left it the way the designer had set it up. I didn't go into speeds or anything like that. I just did it, press the button. And by the time I got back in the shed and opened the door, I'd left the door slightly open on it, even though you're supposed to leave it shut for pure ABS, but there's only a bit of it in here. And yeah, I could smell a bit of that ABS smell. Nothing like as much as printing with pure ABS, which you have got to be careful with, because it's quite an unpleasant smell. You do it with the door of the printer shut. The extractor fan in the printer is through a little tube into the room behind there, the observatory, so all the fumes go straight in there. But yeah, if you're worried about it, it was hardly, even after 4 or 5 hours printing, it was a vague smell in the room. So that was that. Now, again, assembly, great. A few bits of sanding to try and get them in. The legs went in fine. These eyebrows, they're on like a spigot that shoves in the slot. The slot has got supports in it. It might be best printing them without supports, eliminating them there. That was a bit of a pig getting them out, and I had to enlarge it a bit with a Dremel to make them fit. But other than that, the ones on the top are a lot bigger and no problem. But they were the only ones, the eyebrows there and the eyelashes here, which were a bit of a tight fit. Now, the things I'm going to be changing are only slight things, but if you look there, he's got, and I'm assured Tweety Pie is a he, he's got 2 eyelashes per eye, 2 sort of strands of eyelash. Whereas the one I'll show you in a minute has 3 on each eye. Every picture I've seen of Tweety Pie has got 3 eyelashes. So I've printed another spare one. I'm going to cut that in half and then just glue it in the middle. I'll show you that later. And in the model, the tail, again, I've not got it plugged in fully, but you can see there's like a tiny spigot and a hole there. The tail is black. But again, in every picture I've seen of Tweety Pie, the tail is yellow. So I've printed, yeah, and that just went in as easy as that. It's a yellow tail, so I'll just show you what I mean now. So yeah, if you see every single one of them, so go along from the top, 3 eyelashes per eye, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. I can't find one with only 2 eyelashes on. The one with a Santa hat there, that's quite really large. That. You can see there's 3 eyelashes, and again, his tail on every one is yellow. There's a yellow tail. And on his swing there, a yellow tail. So they're the only slight changes I'm going to make, and I'll show you that once I've glued them all on. So let's have a look at the download for the Tweety Pie, and I'll go through anything you need to know in that and what plates it's on. Okay, so to get the Tweety Pie, if you notice from the Road Runner one, it's not listed. The Wile E Coyote one is, and again, if we go on that, it lists the Road Runner, but it doesn't list the Tweety Pie. It only lists about 5 of his other items, and yet there's loads more available. So if you go up here to his name and just hover over that, you'll see Tweety Pie there. I'll show you his entire sort of collection later. So click on a Tweety Pie and then open in Bambu Studio. Import into Bambu Studio. So I'll speed this bit up again and show it you already open. So there we are with it open in Bambu Studio. 5 different plates because there's 5 different colours. Out of the 3, the Wile E Coyote, the Road Runner, and this is the longest print at 9 something hours. Just a couple of things to point out in here. If you look at here on the left, click on speed, you'll notice the initial layer and the initial layer infill are really, really slow at just 10 millimeters per second. I noticed when it started printing, my print head was moving really, really slow for the first layer, even slower than normal, because your first layers are always done a bit slower. And but it was really slow, so you may want to speed that up. A large proportion of that is doing the support under there, that wedge support, and where we got the bit of the separation. Wasn't a brilliant print under there, but like I said, it's at the back of the head, so it doesn't matter. And the only other thing, obviously, to point out is on this one, the plate here on the right. If I click on it, it goes black, so you can't really see these so much. But the bits I printed extra, I just printed one extra one of them. They're the eyelashes, these smaller of these double pronged ones. And as I've already explained, Tweety Pie has actually 3 eyelashes per eye, and these are only 2. So I just printed this as an extra, duplicated one of them, and just cut it in half with a knife. Use as separate things. And again, the tail, obviously, you would just select that, delete everything else, and print the tail in yellow. And that's all I did. So nothing else is worthy of any notes. Everything printed straightforward. Came off the plate okay. Few things I've read saying that the feet are very weak and things, but no, it worked out fine for me. No problems whatsoever. So yeah, that's all you really need to know about that. So I think you'll agree, another nice model. Like I said, no issues really, apart from this separation here, where the layers didn't do too well. Whether that's to do with it being PLA-F or not, I don't know, because like I said, the support was pretty good underneath there. But it doesn't matter because it's from the back. And there is the finished one with the 3 eyebrows, 3 eyelashes, instead of the 2. And the only other change I made, like I said, a yellow tail, not a black tail. But yeah, it looks pretty good, as does the Road Runner. And a good size, each one. I think my favourite, though, is the one I did in part 2. Hang on, let's get them stuck down. The one I did in part 1. The Wile E Coyote. So, yeah, great looking models, I'm sure you'll agree. I did say I'd show you his other ones, so let's have a look at that now. So going from any of the ones on Studio, Bambu Studio, like this one here, if you click his name there, you'll see like 4 appear, but he's got 152 models, as you can see. If you click on the picture of him, his little logo, here's all the stuff he's done, and there are 158 there, 145 models. Now, he's just put these 2 on. This Bugs Bunny here, how cool is that? And this Daffy Duck, the Bugs Bunny, again, no AMS needed. Look at that, looks super cool. 3 sizes. What that one? 40 centimeters. So that is a tall one. So excellent. Where are we? And this one, that was only 3 days old. 3 days since he's uploaded that Bugs Bunny. As of today is the 28th of June. And this Daffy Duck, 31 centimeters. Again, that looks cool. Only 1, 2, 3, 4 colours that. So again, that is only 17 days old since he uploaded that. And loads of other cool stuff down here. See all 145 models. Yeah, some of the simpler ones. That Felix the cat looks good. I'm not sure how big that is, but loads of little stuff. But yeah, some very, very nice models. So thanks, Gus. You're a credit to these. These are a credit to you. They look fantastic. So that is it. So again, I will put all the colours. I won't list every colour I use because the white and the black, just generic white and black. But if you need to know anything like the shade of orange and the shade of pale blue and stuff like that, and the yellow, I'll put links to them below in the description. They are Amazon affiliated links. That means that if you click on that link and buy anything at all from that browsing session, I will get a small commission. And it is small. I think I've made in the last 3 months less than a tenner, something like that. It's pennies usually. So, but every little helps and it's much appreciated. So if you're going to buy anything from Amazon, do it from one of them links. I'll also put the actual locations of the 3 files that I downloaded from Maker World. Pity I've not got any more room in the shed. My side shelves are filled with Marvel and DC characters and the stuff in front of me, skulls and things like that. So I just haven't any more room. It's like Jaws, I need a bigger shed. But yeah, there they are in place on the shelves behind me. Little Thunderbird's lithophane lamp I did to the left of Wile E Coyote. But yeah, they look pretty good there. So yeah, thanks for reaching the very end of this video. Much appreciated. I know it's gone on a bit, but it's actually probably, I think it's a bit shorter than the first one, which was only 1 character. So I'm getting better, but I know I do waffle on. But I like to go into as much detail as I can, because you can always skip the unwanted bits, like I say, by using the red line below. So if you have found it of any interest, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, it would be absolutely fantastic if you could. It's a tiny channel. It's 4,200 subscribers. That's all I've got. And it'd be great if I could eventually get to 5,000 within a year. So if you do want to subscribe, please click the little picture here of the shed. If it hasn't appeared yet, it will do very soon. Once you've done that, click the bell icon below and you'll be alerted to any new uploads. Still got a few in the pipeline. I still keep meaning to get round to do these 3 little tools that I keep going on about, but I keep buying other stuff. That's the problem, or doing other stuff. I've just bought my pressurized garden sprayer, you know, the sort you pump up. I was doing it the other day and the bottom of it burst, so I've had to buy a new one of them. So I saw an electric one on Amazon. This is part of it. I haven't even put it all together yet, so that's going to be my next upload, I'm pretty sure. So stay tuned for that. Like I say, the little shed picture will have appeared now, so click that to subscribe. And thanks for reaching the end of this and part 1. Don't forget part 1 as well, the Wile E Coyote. I hope to see you for the next one. Bye for now.